Hello, everybody. Taking forward very interesting presentation that was given from Bhagalpur, I would like to share an experience that we had over the last 2 years in using the IGNOU's existing framework for teaching via video conferencing in order to reach out to media at the district level and state level. The topic that we chose was, of course, one of the areas that UNICEF is working on, which is on routine immunization as a strategy to reduce the very high under 5 mortality rates. Now, immunization, as we know, is one of the cheapest and most effective ways of reaching out to the poorest. But to get media to write about it is a challenge. It is extremely difficult for media to be interested and to write about it. And for this, we did some pre-analysis in terms of whom to engage with and what is the best way so that we can reach out to a larger number of media in compressed learning times. So here I'm going to...
Please press F5.
So, okay.
F5.
I'm not very good with this. One second. F5?
Yeah.
So the development context, as I said, is the immunization is a highly cost-effective way of preventing diseases that kill under 5s. Secondly, the Government of India has declared this 2012-13 as the year of intensification of routine immunization. It's a global initiative undertaken by Gavi, and India has seconded it by declaring this year as the year of intensification. Media, as we know, is a crucial ally in any public health initiative. And the reason we partnered with IGNOU was to find innovative and rapid ways of engaging with media. It was both a sensitization and engagement process. The partnership was established with the fact that, keeping in mind that we needed to reach the difficult to access regions of the country, and this university had around 60 regional centers located mostly in the remotest corners. The state of MP was chosen as a pilot state because unlike the national average of 60% children being immunized, here only 40% get immunized. So we have another 60% who die of preventable, vaccine-preventable diseases. In MP, we partnered with the regional center in Jabalpur and Bhopal. Dr. Parvez Masood and Dr. Tiwari and Mr. Sonnen sitting here. They were the main partners in this entire project. As I said, before going ahead, we did a media analysis of the last 5-month media coverage and found that around 2/3 of the coverage was event-based, 61% of the stories were negative, and mostly triggered by adverse effects following immunization. You may have heard of immunization killing a vaccine-related death, and that leading to scrapping of the entire immunization program that the government is doing at that time. We have seen it happening in UP, we have seen it happening in Jharkhand, and this was analyzed that media played a major role in creating a situation of negativity and lack of trust around vaccination. So this picture here captures the third phase, in fact, of our engagement process. The third phase had around 20 editors from the top level print and television media coming together. We have Sir Mark Tully presenting a certificate to a district level media. So I'll go through this entire process. The engagement strategy was thought in 3 phases. The first phase was to bring around 40 district level media from Jabalpur in the regional center, in the Jabalpur center, and around 40 in Bhopal, who were talking simultaneously to around 20 sitting in Delhi. So this initial phase helped us to reach out to around 100 odd journalists at one go, and create that important interface between national media, state and district media. The second phase comprised mainly that these 80 odd journalists who were initially engaged, we took them out to field visits. We went through an entire process of body mapping exercises, and most importantly, a forum was created where we could provide these journalists a place to write on the topics that we had spoken to them about in the first phase. So even if their editor said that immunization is not important, get me a crime story. So we had at least mediaforchild.blogspot.com that we, again, small initiative that we launched where they could write about their stories on routine immunization. The third phase, of course, as I showed you, is the top level editors were engaged, and their deliberations and their commitment towards space for this subject was brought out. So this was again a face-to-face interaction. Now, what was the success factor when we go back and analyze how we were able to engage this group of journalists? One was, of course, the choice of partner. IGNOU is a government entity and shares a common equity-focused vision with UNICEF, which is of reaching the unreached. And secondly, the low-cost technology that was already available, and we did not have to invest further, which was the SMS, the closed mobile network through which it reaches out to its 3 million students. The network of television and radio, this hasn't been utilized entirely. This is something that we are planning to use. The Gyanvani and the Gyan Darshan, and of course, the two-way conferencing. The media analysis after the intervention showed around 40% increase in the number of non-event based stories. Our whole issue was that whenever RI, routine immunization, was spoken of, it was in the context of an event. Bacha mar gaya hai, there has been, Anganwadi worker has not come. That is the reason for reporting. It is not a sustained coverage. This intervention helped us in creating a much larger topic on which they could write. For example, they would write on the cold chain. They would write about the life of an Anganwadi worker who wakes up early in the morning to reach to the remotest village and gives the vaccines on time. So face-to-face interactions with Anganwadi workers was, of course, conducted for the journalists. When we analyzed, as I said, why it has worked, the strategic plan of a face-to-face interaction, a phased interaction over 10 months, creation of a blog, the strong network between UNICEF National and its 15 state office teams. In this case, one state office was involved, the MP office, and IGNOU Delhi as well as the regional centers. Reinforcement of the learning through field visits, because that is what helped register in their minds. The SMS, which helped primarily, the SMS was basically a general message saying, we have been able to eradicate smallpox, can we eradicate pertussis? This kind of messaging. But the reason behind and what it led to was that in case a death happened because of vaccination, or in case there was a non-functioning vaccination center, we already had established the contact with the journalist so that he could take a balanced view before reporting. So that was what the SMS system helped us in, and he knew whom to contact. The state immunization officer was now a direct contact for him. The third, reinforcement of, and the body mapping exercises, basically, even we don't know which are the 6 major diseases that routine immunization prevents, so that body mapping activity helped, and the periodic sharing through SMSs. So recommendations for scaling up, this is something that we are recommending to the Government of India, Ministry of Health, in terms of capacity building of district, state and national media through a partnership between the Ministry of Health, IGNOU regional centers and UNICEF. And some of the remote regional centers, one of the difficulties that we faced, for example, even in Jabalpur, it did not have an entirely smooth functioning of video conferencing. So there we had to put up additional technical facilities for it to happen. Those are some challenges which can be overcome, perhaps with alternate structures, but this is definitely a short way of reaching out to a larger media. And here we have some information about UNICEF and IGNOU, which you both know. So any questions, please?
They say that a healthy child of today will give rise to a healthy nation of tomorrow. And definitely such critical interventions as far as training of crucial partners like media are very well taken. And one of the most innovative approaches was to use the multimedia technology for training the grassroots level skill-based workers, that is the journalists. I think any questions for her from you? Thank you very much. Please.